Good morning all of you. In the last class we have discussed about different shapes of shiver, and today we will discuss about the process of laying and testing of shiver. Laying of shiver consists of different steps such as marking of the alignment, excavation of trench, bracing of the trench, dewatering of trench, laying and joining of pipes, testing of leakage and backfilling. Now we will discuss in detail about this process. So first one is marking of the alignment. So marking of the alignment means marking of the center line. So center line of the shiver is marked by any of these two methods. First one is by reference line or by side rail. So by reference line, in this method a reference line is marked along any side of the road. Then the points on the reference line, that is F1, F2, F3, F4 are marked. Then the first point, the starting point of the center line, that is P1, is marked with a peg. Then the distance between F1 and P1 is measured by a tape. Then the other points, that is P2, P3, P4 on the center line is marked by taking F1 P1 equals to F2 P2 equals to F3 P3 and so on. Thus, after this the points P2, P3, P4 etc. can be marked on the center line. Then the center line may be checked by a theodolite. So this is one process of marking the center line. Second process is by side rail. In this method, two vertical posts are driven at suitable distance apart. Then by ranging through a theodolite, the center line is marked with a nail on the side rail, which is fixed on the vertical post. And the center line of the shiver is then transferred to the ground by means of a plumb bob. So first we will mark the center point on the side rail. So which is at a distance, some distance apart from the ground level. So this center line is marked with a nail and the center line is transferred to the ground by means of a plumb bob. The distance between upper edge of the side rail and the invert level is determined. This is the invert level or the bottom level of the shiver, and this one is the side rail. So this distance is measured and noted on the side rail for finding the exact invert level with the help of a boning rod. So this one is a boning rod. So boning rod, the length of this boning rod is adjusted according to the height which is noted in the side rail. That is the distance between side rail and the invert level. So this crosshead of the boning rod is leveled with the upper edge of the side rail. Okay. And the bottom edge of the boning rod will indicate the invert level. So this distance between side rail and the invert level is adjusted by means of the boning rod is adjusted by means of this height, that is the distance between side rail and the invert level. So the crosshead of the boning rod is at the level of the side rail, is at the upper edge of the side rail, is leveled with the upper edge of the side rail, and the bottom portion of the boning rod is at the level of the invert, will indicate the invert level. Okay. So this is the process of marking the center line. Then second step is excavation of trench. So after the marking of center line, we will go for the excavation. So the width of the trench is marked on the road, which is about 15 centimeter more than the external diameter or external dimension of the shiver. So the width of the trench is generally marked 15 centimeter more than the external diameter of the shiver. And at the point of joining or the place of joining, the width of the trench is made 60 centimeter more than the external diameter, and a length of about 60 centimeter is kept clear for the operation of joining. Okay. So see, this is the W. W means it is the width of the trench. And this one is the space for manhole. And this W1 represent the width of the trench at the point of joining. So we have to provide the space, the width as more than 60 centimeter than the external diameter. Then the excavation is started according to the marking, and the invert level or the bottom level is fixed by the boning rod that we have adjusted. The crosshead of the boning rod is leveled with the upper edge of the side rail, and the verticality of the boning rod is maintained by plumb bob. And the bottom edge of the boning rod, that is the shoe. See here, this is the bottom level is known as shoe. So shoe of the boning rod will indicate the invert level. Okay. Then next step is bracing of the trench. After the excavation, the trench is provided with timber bracing or sheet piling so that it may not collapse due to rain or any other reason during the process of laying and joining. Then after bracing, next process is dewatering of trench. So dewatering is sometimes due to sudden rainfall or due to percolation of subsoil, the trench may be filled up with water. So it is required to dewater the trench, and it should be done by pumping. Next step is laying and joining of pipes. The bed of the shiver line is generally prepared by the cement concrete of proportion 1:3:6. And the thickness of the concrete varies from 15 to 20 centimeter. And after proper curing, so this is the concrete bed, this is the sewer pipe. So after the proper curing, the pipes are laid along the trench very carefully so as to prevent any cracking or breaking of pipes. Then the joining operation is performed according to the type of the according to the recommended joint, and after completion of the joining, both sides of the pipe is finished with concrete. Next is testing of leakage. So the leakage in the pipe joint or at any point in the pipeline is tested by any of these two methods. First one is by water test or by air test. So by water test, the length of the sewer line for testing. So by water test, the testing of leakage by water test is done by taking a length of sewer line between two manholes, and the lower end of the sewer line is provided with a plug like this. So these are two manholes and this is the sewer line where we want to test the leakage, and the lower level of the sewer is closed by means of a the lower level of the sewer is plugged. Then the manhole at the upper end of the sewer line, which is present at the upper end of the sewer line, is filled with water, and the water is allowed to flow through the sewer line. The depth of water in the manhole is maintained at about 1.5 meter. Then the sewer line is washed and the joints which have sweated are repaired. So here we will fill the water in the upper manhole and the water is allowed to flow through the sewer line. And this line is checked, and if there is any leakage, that should be repaired. Second method is by air test. So by air test, the pipe ends of both the manholes are plugged and air compressor is connected to the plug of upper manhole. Here in the upper manhole, a compressed air unit is fixed, and a pressure gauge is attached to the lower manhole. Then the pressure exerted by the compressed air is recorded in the pressure gauge. It is left for few hours, and if there is any decrease in the pressure, then it is an indication of leakage. That means if the pressure drops below the permissible limit, then it will indicate the leakage. So the exact point of leakage is found out by applying soap solution, which will show bubbles at the point of leakage, and the leakage point should be repaired immediately. So this is how we will test the leakage in the sewer line. Then backfilling. So after the completion of testing and removal of leakage, the trenches are filled up with the excavated earth. And the earth filling is done in stages. At the first stage, the earth is laid to a thickness of 15 cm, and then it is watered and rammed gently. Then further layer of thickness 15 cm is laid and rammed properly. So it will be done in steps. So then after backfilling, it is the backfilling is stopped for about 7 days, and then finally the trench is filled up completely with a projection of about 15 cm above the ground level. So this is how backfilling is done, and this is the process of laying and testing of shiver pipe. Thank you.